Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance, www.hssp.cc, sportsjuice.com. We're here live at Golden Leaf, 6:51 in Hobart. Saturday night, New York City, New York. The city's so nice, they named it twice. Light heavyweight action. Roy Jones Jr. wins a 12-round unanimous decision over Felix Tito Trinidad, 117-109, and twice 116-110. Trinidad moves down to 42-3 with 35 knockouts. Jones moves up to 52-4 with 38 knockouts. Well, Emil, I asked the question before the fight, and now I'm asking after. Does this fight mean anything?
Obviously, it means something to Roy. I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, obviously, it's going to look. You can look back on Roy's record and see that he beat Trinidad, the Hall of Famer. But a lot of people are going to say Trinidad was already past his prime, and you look at it. He's already had a few losses here in a row, and it'll be the one at probably the bottom of his career because he's probably going to retire after this. It was you and I were talking at the fight. Actually, they were having trouble selling tickets for this, and they had.
That's amazing to me, though.
They priced the tickets so high, and then they dropped the prices actually Friday night to get more people. And obviously, Don King did something right because he had 12,000 people there.
Yeah.
So
Don King can sell tickets.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows how to.
And he tried having the tickets high at first, so they didn't all sell out right away, it seems like to me.
True, it might have bit him a little bit, pricing them so high to begin with, but he sold the tickets that he needed to sell.
You guys think that maybe the pay-per-view pricing kind of hurt him a little bit?
I don't know. I think everybody that wanted to see this fight still ordered it. They didn't shy away from it.
I think if you wanted to see this fight, you saw it. I don't think $50 was going to keep someone from actually watching.
It was actually on YouTube for about a day or two, and it got pulled right off. HBO pulled it off, and it actually wasn't even the video that was on there wasn't even an HBO video. It was Don King promotion video from overseas. I don't even think they were speaking English actually in it, but they pulled it off. The Mike Malo video was on there as well, and that got pulled off as well. I should be saying the Galata because Galata actually won.
It was the Galata fight. Yeah, we'll call it what it was. But yeah, you're right. Trinidad just not looking sharp in this fight whatsoever. He tried to land that left hook. I'm telling you right now, though, Jones owned Trinidad for the majority of this fight.
He was toying with him a little bit, smiling and dancing around quite a bit, and when he wanted to.
Jones got hit with a few shots, but nothing that was nothing dangerous. He at no point looked hurt. He at no point even looked really bothered by what Trinidad was doing.
Didn't even look stunned.
No, at no point. I mean, they showed some slow motion shots of Trinidad landing some shots, and of course, Jones' head gets snapped back, but his eyes are open. He's clear. He's fine, and went right back to work.
Jones is going to get hit every once in a while. He still keeps his hands pretty low, but as we noticed in this fight, he did start to keep his hands up a lot more than what he used to. He used to keep him down at his waist all the time.
Well, I think it's a good. If you're gonna teach an old dog new tricks, that would not be a bad.
That would be your first trick.
That might be a good one. Yeah.
Well, he used to rely on his speed so much that he used to be able to get out of the way, or at least be moving away from a punch where even if he got hit, it wasn't going to hurt as much. Yeah. And once the speed went away, he had to get his hands up and start blocking some of the punches.
Looked like a lot of that speed came back.
That's what I was about to say. His speed, he looked 7-8 years younger.
I didn't, we used to talk about Roy Jones Jr. all the time.
Like he lived next door to Jesus Christ, They were at least on the same block, I know.
And his speed, I don't know that it ever really left him. I just think his technique,
his motivation might have left him.
That could be. A lot of it might have been his motivation. He'd done everything he wanted to do.
I still
and
think
now he was still fighting just to be fighting, and he was getting hit and getting knocked out. And now he realizes that, wait a minute, what I really want to do is win.
Yeah.
I don't just want to fight, I want to win. And maybe his motivation is back. And his speed was, I'll tell you what, I was impressed by his speed. I mean, the guy was quick.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with him going up to heavyweight and then coming back down and gaining that muscle to go to heavyweight and then having to lose the muscle to come back down.
Because the muscle's the heaviest part of your body.
They were showing that fight where he went up to heavyweight to beat John Ruiz. Not to challenge John Ruiz, to beat John Ruiz. He went up there, and you look at his body, and I was like, good God, this is Roy Jones, looking bigger than I've ever seen him before. That was 4 or 5 years ago when they fought. just amazing. He looked like a He-Man figure for that fight, and was still smaller. Than John Ruiz was.
Yeah.
A natural heavyweight versus a natural what? Super middle?
Yeah, super middle. I know he fought most of his career at light heavy. But
Yeah.
He's the middleweight was where he really got his breakthrough when he fought Tony.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's been
Middle and super middle
Yeah.
is where a lot of his early stuff happened.
Well, I gotta ask this question, guys, because we pointed out, I have not seen the fight yet. You guys saw it. Did Jones look fast because he was fighting an old Trinidad, or was he just fast? Would he have looked that fast if he was fighting a younger, quicker guy?
I can't answer that because he was only in the ring with one guy, and Trinidad did look slow. So yeah, by comparison, fat girls hang out with fatter girls.
And the referee wasn't moving all that fast either, so.
True, true. So I don't know. It's an excellent question. I mean, with him only being in the ring with Trinidad as slow as he was, is he going to be pulling that on Floyd?
Right, yeah.
No.
No.
Floyd.
But you know what? Trinidad was sluggish, but he didn't impress me as being just overly slow.
He actually fought pretty good in this.
Yeah,
fight.
I thought the guy put up a decent fight. I mean, he didn't have a chance for minute one, but
I don't even agree that he fought a good fight. I mean, he fought better than he fought Winky.
Oh yeah.
But if that's the best I can give him, that's not much.
no, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not talking. The guy wasn't, championship caliber by any stretch of the imagination.
But he gave us an entertaining fight.
Yeah, I didn't think that. I didn't find it a snooze fest. I thought it was actually kind of entertaining myself.
I was never really worried about Jones losing though.
No.
And then once
No, not at all.
once he knocked him down in the 7th and later in the 10th, you knew that it was all wrapped up. That Winky, or not Winky, you said Winky, got it in my head. Trinidad had no chance to ever come back. And as the fight went on, he even got more sluggish and seemed to slow even a little bit more at the end.
Well, he goes and gets knocked down in the 7th round, and battles his way, the best he could, and then gets knocked down again in the 10th round. The 7th round looked to me like a real legitimate knockdown. The 10th round knockdown, Nestor said it the second it happened. He goes, that was a balanced shot.
Yeah, the guy had his feet together. He was crossing his legs, making a move across the ring, and he got his feet tangled up. And Jones hit him at the same time. Yeah, it was a knockdown. But
It was a glancing shot at that,
yeah,
too.
I didn't think it was that because Trinidad wasn't even hurt by that one. I think he more bruised his tailbone than anything else when he landed on the ring.
It was quick.
Yeah,
It was
he got right back up.
got
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like he stumbled to his feet. Now the one in the 7th round, I thought he was quite.
That was a real
knockdown.
knockdown.
That was a knockdown.
But we're cutting down on Trinidad.
Well,
Sum it up. Was Trinidad ever really hurt in this fight either? Too?
Yeah, I don't really think he was.
I don't think he was.
I cannot sit here and say that he got his ass kicked by Roy.
And I don't
He got
even-
outworked.
I don't even know if it's so much the old age for Trinidad as him not being in as good a shape. I mean, he's
And the
fought.
weight.
Yeah, the weight is a big thing. He's
Well, yeah, because
He had to come down to 170 and 210.
Trinidad's always fought at what? He's always been middle or
middle was
Middle.
where he retired at, basically. The first
Middle was heavy for him.
Right,
he didn't belong
Welter
in
weight
the
was where-
welter and super welter was his magic.
Okay.
He was welter and super welter. That's where he was fighting. That's where he fought Fernando Vargas. That was his best stuff.
Yeah, that
Right.
was junior middle. Yeah, for
Super welter,
Yeah.
junior middle, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Well, Paul Driscoll just got online. He confirms your guys' statements that Jones was fast. It wasn't so much Trinidad. Jones just looked fast that night.
Jones
so.
definitely
No,
looked
yeah,
fast.
I'll tell you what. I was really impressed by his speed. I really was. I expected a lot slower, an older, slower Jones, and an even older, slower Trinidad. I didn't expect it to be very entertaining. I thought the fight was going to be rather boring. I thought it was entertaining. I liked the
big TV we
undercards.
watched on?
Well, I like my big TV that we watched it on.
That was ridiculous.
I like some of the undercards. I thought the undercards were very entertaining as well. But as far as the Jones Trinidad fight, it was entertaining at best. I really expected them to walk into this as being just slow old guys. I really did.
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Right.
And it was. I thought it was a pretty entertaining fight. Like you said, it was better than I thought it was going to be. And on this card, it was probably the second best fight of the night. And then the next fight we're going to be talking about is probably what I would consider the best fight of the night, the most entertaining fight of the night.
Yes. And now we're going to talk about the most entertaining fight in the night. Heavyweight action, Andrew Galata, who they love to refer to as the foul pole. Wins a 12-round unanimous decision over Mike Malo, both from Chicago. 118 to 109, 116 to 112, and 116 to 110. Pretty odd scoring.
Yeah.
That one judge had it 116 to 112, and the other judge 116 to 110.
Yeah.
Agreed that Galata deserved 116, both guys, but the other two thought Mike Malo deserved 10 and 12 points. Odd.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could see a point difference, but not 2 points. What are they?
And it's not even like it's not a difference in rounds, they just took points off of Malo, so I don't understand.
Hey, that's better than 116, 110 one way and 116, 110 the other way.
Which we've seen.
Which we've seen before too.
Yeah.
So.
Galata moves up to 41-6-1, 33 knockouts. Malo 9-2 with 12 knockouts. Dan Raphael gave the greatest quote on this one. I mean, he wrote the words. This was an old-fashioned alley fight. It was, man. I mean, I was so tense on just watching. I'm watching Mike Malo about to knock out Andrew Galata. That's what I kept telling myself. What round is he going to do it in?
And you picked him in the fourth.
I said the fourth round he would do it.
I picked the fifth.
Yeah.
And when he hit him in the eye, I got up and yelled. I'm like, I thought he was going down. I thought because I actually bet on the fifth round as well. Thought I was going to win me some money.
A big congratulations to Emil by picking up 10 points this weekend for his picks and taking the lead too.
Yeah. We need to talk about the fight though. Is what matters here. Oh my gosh, the left eye of Galata.
That belongs on the wall of punishment.
That belongs up there with the loaf of bread,
yeah.
container of milk, and a stick of butter.
I'll tell you what, after the show, I'll put it up on our main page.
We need to put
Page
all
website.
three of those shots up on the website, just side by side. Vargas after the first Sugar Shane Mosley fight, of course, the Holyfield
Rockman fight.
headbutt, the third fist, yeah, against Hasim Rahman, of course. Hasim Rahman is still the champion of facial distortion.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get better.
But Galata definitely belonged in there. I mean, it wasn't like huge.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't.
But it swelled so quickly. Was what was weird about it. It was like putting a balloon on your spigot outside and just turning on the water. It was big, quick.
I went to Mike Malo's MySpace page the next day, saw the pictures and said, oh, Mike Malo won. He didn't mess him up. And then I went to BoxRec and seen he lost. And I'm like, what the heck? What does Mike Malo look like if Galata looks like that?
Believe it or not, Malo didn't look. You know what Malo looked like? He looked exhausted. That's what Malo looked
He was exhausted.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a matter of he took a beating. He was exhausted.
It didn't look like that about in the fourth round, and he even landed that big punch after he had already looked like he was
Well,
out.
that I'm sure his lower extremities took a beating too.
Yeah.
Galata
knows when the ref's on the other side.
Oh, I know
when
he
he can
does.
sneak that.
Oh, you think? Galata's a dirty fighter. He's always been a dirty fighter. He
Right.
will always
Yeah.
be a dirty fighter. Mike Malo kept it clean, and to hell with the fact that Malo's a friend of the show. Dude, who cares? That means nothing. Malo is the heavyweight Arturo guy. He took so many shots and kept coming.
And a much bigger guy leaning on him throughout the whole fight.
because Galata.
I've never seen Galata look bigger than he did against Mike
Oh
Malo.
my God!
Someone in the room said it looks like a father beating his son. And Malo is a big kid.
Yeah.
Galata is just a freak of nature. Now, when you put Galata in against Brewster and who else did he? Britt. No, he never fought. Galata never fought Britt.
Bird wasn't that big though.
Bird's a little guy. Lennox Lewis.
Yeah.
He looked like Riddick Bowe. Those are all fights where Galata is notoriously the smaller man. Well, if you put him in with a Mike Malo is you can't get around it. He is a smaller heavyweight.
Yeah.
He packs a huge punch, but he's a smaller heavyweight. Right around 218, 220 is what he usually fights at. Galata outweighed him by 20-some pounds.
Do you hear what we're saying? A small heavyweight at 220, 225
But he still has the power to
Floyd
get-
Patterson never even weighed 200 pounds in his heavyweight.
Yeah, and that cracks me up because, and Muhammad,
different times though.
Muhammad Ali fought most of his fights. He was a big heavyweight at 220, 218.
Yeah, that was he
210.
got bigger at the end of his career. though.
Well, yeah, that was fun.
When he had young in his career, that's what he was at. He's like 210, 220, somewhere in there. But
Now, before our good buddy goes and logs on and sees that I said Floyd Patterson never weighed 200 pounds in his career, he was notoriously showing up for his heavyweight championship fights at 189, 192, 190. You know, if he fought once or twice at 200 pounds, I don't want him going on there saying, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about." So anyway,
Malo, after he caught Zlatan with that right hand and shut his eye in the fifth, you would think because he hit him, and by the end of the fifth, it was closed, and Zlatan admitted that he couldn't see out of it. By the seventh, eighth round, he was completely shut and couldn't see. Now, he couldn't take advantage of that. That was the bad thing. You would think not being able to see out one side, you know, a lot of those shots would be coming blind and be able to land a lot of big punches. But his stamina was so worn down that he couldn't get any big punches in after that.
well, he absolutely blew him out in the first 2 rounds.
Oh yeah.
Galata was looking pretty bad after 2 rounds. Like, whoa, he's getting totally outworked. The first 30 seconds, Malo came at him and started landing big shots to the belly. I was
Yeah.
loving that. Bottom line, summed up, Galata lasted. Malo was still there. He was still on his feet. He never went down. God bless him.
Yeah, and it took everything at the end of the fight for him to stay up because he was really wore out.
The greatest words came from Max Kellerman, who were really giving him his props. Gave Mike Malo every bit of props that Kellerman believed that he deserved. And if this rematch happens, Galata Malo too, if there's a God, let it be Allstate Arena. Let it be in Chicagoland,
Oh, my God.
where their fans can really get there to them.
That place will just go nuts.
Yes.
Man. It'll sell out and it'll go nuts.
Well, Galata's Polish, so he's going to draw all those fans, and Malo's a big-time Chicago guy already.
Yeah.
So he's going to get not just the Italian fans, he's going to get a lot of the Chicago fans. Because a lot of people
Or the Italians.
don't realize that Galata's
From
fighting
Italy?
out of Chicago.
Yeah,
But Malo, they do know that he is fighting out of Chicago.
very much so. Let's move on. We've got a lot more fights. There was a little bit of an upset here. Roman Carmazin. Little bit.
He was 25-1.
No one was picking Alex Bonema to beat Carmazin. Carmazin leaves the fight 36-3-1 with 23 knockouts. Bonema 27-9-2, 15 knockouts. Did not expect this. Knocked him out.
Yeah, caught him. He was actually losing the whole fight, and just Carmazin the whole fight.
He looked tentative.
He was winning, but he was getting caught every once in a while. And Jimmy turned to me and goes, "That guy looks like Carmazin looks like he might get caught and go down." I'm like, the way he stands, it just with his head chin tucked down to his chest. I go, I don't think he can go down. I go, he has that stance that
He knows how to put his head. They were even talking about it on the broadcast. He knows how to stand there. There's no way he's getting knocked out. And then boom.
He's got a great hole out of nothing stance.
Great hole out of nothing. Wow, it was. I mean, the slurry of punches that he took at the end were just.
Yeah, well,
You really did that? That was outstanding.
and they were even on the ESPN board here. Raphael even compares it to Jermaine Taylor and Kelly Pavlik at the end of that fight. How
jeez.
Pavlik attacked Taylor.
It was. I mean, if you're a Carmazin fan, it was not a beautiful thing. If you're a boxing fan, it was.
Yeah, this really hurts Carmazin because he was looking maybe to get a chance to come back and fight Corey Spinks here in the future after he had that controversial decision in 06.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And it's going to be pretty hard for him to get a fight because not too many people know who he is.
He's dangerous,
And
he wants to really reprove himself, but he really needs it, and people know that he really needs it. So he might not get too many fights. Junior welterweight action. Devin Alexander wins a 12-round unanimous decision over DeMarcus Chop Corley. Scores 118-109 twice and 116-111 once. Alexander still undefeated, 14-0 with 9 knockouts. Chop Corley 31-8 with 1 draw, 17 knockouts. Corley was absolutely, positively never in this fight.
Now, he didn't look good in this fight at all. Actually, he hasn't looked good in his last couple fights. And Alexander came in here to prove what he was supposed to. Basically, getting against a veteran of the ring, you know, and getting a win. It's the toughest fight that he's had so far in his young career, but he handled it how he was supposed to.
I'd say. We got to fly through these next ones. Welterweight action, Luis Collazo won a unanimous decision after 10 rounds over Edvan Dos Santos. Collazo 28-3 with 13 knockouts. Dos Santos 9-5-1 with 7 knockouts.
Yeah, it's nice to get that big win in front of his hometown fans, and it's his first bout since he had that loss against Shane Mosley. So gets a chance to get back on that horse, the winning horse.
We're talking about Cotto, Williams, and Cintron.
I don't think so.
That's
Maybe Williams.
lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my.
It's
I
like,
don't think
no.
he's ready for any of those.
You don't want that. You don't want that. Heavyweight action, Emmanuel Nwodo knockout in the second round over Ezra Sellers. Sellers came on in 29-8 with 26 knockouts. Left with 29-8, 26 knockouts. And Nwodo leaves with 22-4, 18 knockouts.
Yeah, he knocked him. And Bolo knocked him out basically here. Former two-time cruiserweight title challenger, so was pretty good in that as well.
Well, the Ding-a-Ling man, his knockout of the year from last year was against Ezra Sellers, so everyone's getting a
Not
piece of
Ezra
that.
Sellers, and Moto is who that knockout of the year was against. When he basically buckled his legs and fell back, feet up by his head.
Pardon me. And Wodo was the one that got knocked out, and that was a vicious knockout.
Oh yeah.
It took the whole year.
That was my choice of the year, knockout of the year. I think it was yours as well, wasn't it?
No, it had to be. Saturday night, Dusseldorf, Germany, heavyweight action. Ruslan Shaigev won a 12-round unanimous decision over Matt Skelton, retains his WBA heavyweight championship of the world. We already talked about this fight, but
Yeah, it wasn't a very entertaining fight. A lot of inside fighting. Shagayev was kind of leaning on him a lot and getting a lot of punches in on the inside. Didn't give Skelton enough room to turn on him and put some real power into him.
Shaigev was actually quoted as saying this wasn't much of a fight because Skelton was on him like a cheap suit.
Yeah,
He said you got to have more distance for it to be a real fight.
he got a little bit of room, but he didn't.
Probably would have been a real fight if he fought a Bragamov instead of fighting Skelton.
There you are. The fight he should have taken in the first place. They're talking about Valuev fighting Liakovic is going to be on the 16th, and he might get a mandatory defense against the winner of that.
Yeah, he wants to unify the titles, but it looks like between those two guys, that's who he's going to end up.
He doesn't want to unify the titles.
Yeah, he wants to say he wants to unify.
Yes, he wants to look like he wants to unify. He had the chance to unify, hurt his back. The second Abragamov signed on for Klitschko. Oh, my back's okay.
I don't think he could unify the titles either. I don't think he hits hard enough to unify them. Those guys that he's going to have to take on are some big hitters.
I would tend to agree with that. Keeping on flying. Junior featherweight action. This was in Orillia, Ontario, Canada. Junior featherweight action. Steve Molitor, 10th round unanimous decision over Ricardo Castillo. He retains his junior featherweight championship of the world. Friday night, Key West, Florida. This was Friday night fights. Kelvin Davis gets TKO'd in the very first round, cruiserweight action, against Eric Fields. That was crazy.
Yeah, Kelvin Davis was a great fighter in time. Actually had a couple fights where he had a chance for fight of the year. I think he was a former titleist too, but he ended up having to retire after this fight. He had that major surgery where he was training and a car was coming out head on with him, and he basically had to either get hit by the car or jump off a 25-foot bridge.
Got knocked off a bridge.
Yeah, and so he falls 25 feet to the floor or to the ground, and basically just has to have surgery, spinal surgery, and makes it back to the ring. Just amazing enough that he got back to the ring here to fight a top fighter like Eric Fields, and gave it his all up. Eric Fields comes out and lands that overhand right with the first major punch that he threw in the round and knocks him down though. And Fields looked great in this fight. And then later on in that round, he obviously comes on like a tear, throws about 20 punches in a row.
I love how you make it sound like it was a 10-round fight. And then later, 40 seconds later.
Yeah, it says 55 seconds into the fight, he knocked him down, or knocked him out.
But then later on in the fight, later on in the first minute of the fight, Junior welterweight action, Randall Bailey, TKO victory in the 5th round over Anthony Mora. I can actually say that I judged a Randall Bailey fight at the Majestic Star Casino in Gary, Indiana. That was a few years back. Jimmy, the fighting school teacher Holmes, was on that card as well. Randall Bailey moves up to 36-6 with 33 knockouts. Mora moving down to 15-2 with 10 knockouts.
Yeah, Bailey still has that lightning in his hands.
Oh, yeah.
In both hands, actually, not just his right. But he needs to learn how to work behind the jab and put his punches together. Well, he's already a very skilled fighter. He just has to recognize that he has to do that.
I loved that episode of Friday Night Fights. All knockouts, all spectacularly done.
Yeah.
And great commentary. Great commentary. I mean, you gotta love Teddy Atlas.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Teddy Atlas does a great job.
He does great stuff.
And they were talking the whole fight about Bailey needing to throw the jab and then put his punches together, not just throw. Bailey looked like he was looking for the knockout the whole time, and he eventually ended up landing the big right to knock his man out.
Oh yeah.
But I think if he would have just worked his punches in, he would have ended up landing it earlier in the fight.
Friday night, Brownsville, Texas, junior middleweight action. Jesus Soto Carras gets a 10-round unanimous decision over Jermaine Sanders. And flyweight action, Raul Martinez, good friend of our show, wins an 8th-round unanimous decision over Alex Ali Baba.
Yeah, this is a pretty big fight for Martinez because he was on that. He was fighting for main events, and they weren't having him on very many cards, and then they ended up losing his contract. Had a lot of contract disputes back and forth.
Exactly what he explained live on our show a few months back to me.
And now he's over at Top Rank, and Top Rank obviously has all these Telfuchera cards, and look for him to be on a lot of those in the future.
Yeah, and an interesting move on that real quick was he was actually, his promoter let him go. Normally when you got a guy in contract and under contract and you're having a lot of disputes with him and you got 6 months left, well that fighter just sits there for 6 months.
Sure.
And they said go ahead because I mean a lot of times they just let a guy just
They didn't
sit there
have to do that.
on his butt.
That's what we're getting at.
Well, yeah, main event was having trouble getting cards, that's what the main reason they probably did that.
Yep. All right. Let's take a break. We'll come right back and we'll get a little bit of the updates desk with Nestor Garza-Mero. We'll also play the interview with Merciless Mike Mallow, talking a little bit about his fight with Galata this past weekend. Actually, we'll come right back to that interview and then we'll hit the updates desk. Is that cool? All right. Bolo Punch Boxing Hour brought to you by George Rogie Insurance, www.hssp.ccsportsjuice.com.